profile of a lure, the depth that you're running a bait at. Is the bait tuned properly? How many of you know, how many know in here that you have to tune a crankbait? Just raise your hands. That's pretty good. I'm impressed. Raise the hands that don't know that crankbaits or spinnerbaits have to be tuned. Raise the hands. All right, real quickly. To understand a crankbait and how it works, or a spinnerbait, whether we're using, build baits, like the flicker shad here, or whether you're using, this is a Lucky Craft, we use this a lot for smallmouths. You got to remember, each one of these lures, just because you buy it, it's brand new and out of the box, does not mean that it's going to catch fish. Okay? Talk to a friend, for example, and he says, hey, what color are you using? Oh, I had a black and gold thunder stick on, deep junior thunder stick. You knocked the snot out of it. So you got to go run right over to Phil's Sleep Farm and get your black and gold deep junior thunder sticks. And then you go out and you say, hey, I didn't catch anything on that thing. Well, a number of things could have happened there. One is A, you didn't get into the right depth zone. B is that bait wasn't tuned. C, you weren't even close to the right area. So it comes down to technique, but I always tell everybody, I can get up and hit a golf ball, and you can watch me, each and every one of you can watch me hit the golf ball. Well, 90% of the time it's going to be just a little bit off to the left of the tee, or to the right. I like to call it just, a mulligan and take another shot at it, because I like to kill the ball if I'm out golfing. But, if you're smiling, you know what I'm talking about. Or it's over the other fairway and I got to holler for it. But my point is, if you watch me hit a golf ball and you watch Tiger Woods hit the golf ball, if you watch both of us, you're not going to see a big difference when we hit the ball, but the outcome is going to be significantly different. Okay? And it comes down to details. Paying close attention to details is what makes us successful fishermen. Now getting back to color selection. Profile, depth that you're running a bait at, speed that you're running it at, is the bait tuned properly. Tuning a crankbait, here's what we do. Cast it out, reel it back as fast as you possibly can. The key to a successful crankbait, or a bait, or all of those additional baits that you have in your boxes that your wives don't know that you bought, okay? You will find out that a lot more of those actually do work, guys or gals, okay? And what you need to do, cast it out, reel it back as fast as you can. When you reel it in, the key to a bait working properly is that it needs to come in shoulder width apart. If it comes in shoulder width apart, you've got a bait that's going to work. If it comes into the left, you've got a problem. If it comes into the right, you've got a problem. How you correct that is by taking a fine-tipped needle-nose pliers, and the culprit is the eye that's put into the bill of the bait. That is the culprit. Think about it. 99% of the baits that we buy today come with split rings. Think about it. The only one that I'm aware of that does not come with a split ring is what? Who can tell me a bait that doesn't come with a split ring? Huh? And it's a balsa wood Rapala, number 13 or number 11, right? Oh, you gotta come on up here. And what's your name, young man? Huh? Carter. Congratulations, Carter. You got your right buddy. Huh? Right 5? Yeah, here you go. All right. Anyhow, a balsa wood Rapala is one of the few baits that comes without a split ring. And where I learned this many years ago is I used to throw a lot of balsa wood Rapalas. And it always ceased to amaze me that I'd get 3 guys in the boat, we'd be out fishing for walleyes, and one guy would catch a bunch of them, and the other guy would get nothing, and one guy would get a couple. And I'm like, is it just that they're that unlucky? Is it just that you didn't hit the spot? Was the retrieve too fast? Was it that you were eating chicken the night before and you got smell on the bait? I'm trying to analyze all this stuff on what's going on. And I found one thing that was really interesting. You remember the balsam colors are quite soft. Well, when a walleye hits it, he puts teeth marks in them. Okay? Well, I'm looking at the bait with all the teeth marks, and I'm looking at one of the baits, same color, without teeth marks. And I noticed one interesting factor. The bait without teeth marks had a grind mark on the bill. The bait with all the teeth marks had no grind marks. So I'm thinking, well, that's interesting. So I go grab another one with no teeth marks. There's a grind mark on the bill. I got another one in blue and silver with all kinds of teeth marks in it. No grind mark on the bill. I look at one with no teeth marks, a grind mark on the bill. So I'm looking at these going, wait a minute, there's something wrong here. And then I started checking them, and I could see, if you remember right, each one of those is tank tested, and they're trying to get it to run properly, so when you buy it, you can go out and catch fish with it. Well, the ones with the grind marks are out of tune, and they're trying to tune them. So they're not sending out, and there's more to this than what a lot of guys can imagine, but it comes down to vibrations. When minnows swim through the water, like smelt or alewife, each one of those has a different profile, okay? And walleyes get used to feeding off of profiles. When minnows swim, I get this question quite frequently when I'm out fishing at night for walleyes. Hey, how do they see these things? Well, believe it or not, they don't see it until I believe the last second before they eat it. What happens is when our baits are swimming through the water, there's a vibration pattern that's being sent off to these walleyes that they pick up on their who can tell me lateral line. Very good. The walleye has a lateral line, and they use that to pick up on forage. They don't go, if you're pulling a black and gold husky jerk number 12 up on Henderson's Point shoreline, they don't come racing up to it and go, oh my God, it's a black and gold number 12 husky jerk, I'm not eating it. That's kind of where I'm going with the color thing, okay? They pick up on vibrations off the lateral line. They determine that's something that they like to eat, so they then in turn go over there and eat it. Now, don't misunderstand me. Certain hues of colors can have impacts. I certainly like to have, obviously comes down to confidence. I've got certain colors that I like to use, but you got to remember, you got to be honest with yourself and ask yourself many a times. Like I get a guy that says, hey, all I throw is a white spinnerbait for smallmouth. That's my best bait. Well, let me ask you something. Did you ever try like a green one? Did you ever try a crawfish color one? Because a lot of times when we're out fishing, I got to listen to myself once in a while. It's difficult as a fisherman to discipline yourself to try different things.